Alrighty, it is 7 o'clock. Let's get started here. My name is Sammy. I am teaching Yoga Restore this evening for Yoga Fit. If you have any requests throughout class, if you have any questions throughout class, I always keep my comment section open so I can quickly glance at that throughout class tonight. If you have any questions or requests or anything, just feel free to pop those in at any time. I will be checking it periodically as we move through this class. I'm going to share my Spotify playlist right now, and then right before we start moving, I will let us know when we're starting that playlist. Just make sure that you don't have it on shuffle so that you can make sure that you're kind of following along if you want to stay on the same pace as myself. Again, if you haven't already, I do recommend either grabbing a blanket or a pillow just to help support your practice. It can help in times when maybe some muscles are a little more sore or tight than maybe we were anticipating. So again, we'll get started right away here. Find your way to Shavasana. You can lie all the way down on your mat. Allow your arms and legs to extend long. Allow the eyes to close. Start to just take some deep breaths here, really letting yourself settle into your space. Wherever you are practicing this evening is perfect. It's exactly where you're supposed to be. Just take some deep breaths, settle in, notice kind of your surroundings, notice maybe the sounds, the smells, maybe what it feels like to lay on the floor if you're on the floor, or maybe you're on carpet. Just noticing what that feels like here. Paying attention to how your body is right at the beginning. Tuning in. Checking in with your breath. Checking in with your muscles. Noticing maybe some areas in the body that are a little tighter today, maybe even feel sore. And noticing areas that also feel really good in the body. And bringing your awareness to anything that's on your mind, anything that you maybe still haven't quite let go, and just noticing whatever is there. Notice maybe something that's on your heart that keeps popping up. Again, just accepting whatever that is. And just taking some breaths and breathing with it today. Letting go of any judgments or expectations. Just meeting yourself where you are right now. And as you scan your body, maybe start to guide your breath to the spaces that do feel a little bit tighter or feel like they need just a little bit more love this evening. Feel the breath just working its way into those areas. Maybe just softening with the exhale. Enjoying some nice open mouth exhales if that feels good for you this evening. Just letting it go. Sighing it all out. And finding yourself just really present right here, right now. Letting go of any to-do lists. Letting go of the events of the day. And giving yourself the full gift here of presence. Letting yourself be in this moment with your body throughout class this evening. Just finding that place of stillness, of calm within. Letting ourselves really tap into that despite everything else that's going on around us. Finding and cultivating and enjoying that space of calm that is already within us. We'll take some deep breaths here together. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Fill up the belly first. Lift that air into the lungs. And open mouth exhale, let it go. Take another one just like that. Big breath in. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. And another one, just one more for you this time. Big breath in. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Maybe starting to think now of a dedication for your practice, something to focus your mind and your efforts on as we move through our class. So whether that's gratitude, or maybe it is tonight just finding calm or remaining calm during moments of tension. Whatever your intention is, allow it to come into the mind now. And start to breathe it into your practice. And start to see it in the front of the mind, really dedicating your heart to that intention today for the next 60 minutes. And we'll set our intentions here with a cleansing breath. Again, a nice deep exhale. Just release any stale air from the lungs. Take a big breath in through the nose. Hold it right here at the top. And open mouth exhale, send it out. You can seal your lips now and continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. If it feels better for you to release that energy through the mouth, always feel free to do so. Before we start moving here, I always like to remind our team here that you have every opportunity just to lay on your mat this evening. If that's what your body needs, if that's what your practice is this evening, please feel free to do just that. And at any time during class, feel free to modify for whatever you need out of this evening's practice. I am merely your guide this evening, just suggesting. Nothing that I say is mandatory. So just make sure you're taking care of your body, your mind, and your breath as we move through practice. And we'll get started here. If you would like to start moving your body, just begin by wiggling the fingers and the toes. Maybe open and close the jaw, maybe nod the head side to side. Maybe even start to shrug those shoulders, get a little bit of warmth headed there. And rolling out the wrists and the ankles. When you start to feel good there, take a nice deep inhale, reach your arms overhead, press the feet long, and stretch through the spine, breathing all the way through each fingertip, stretching and pressing all the way through every toe. And on your exhale, guide the knees into the chest and gently rock side to side across the spine. Feel the low back really starting to melt into the floor here. And moving softly, maybe kind of playing around with your hips here, rolling out the hips, taking some circles, and moving in both directions. Maybe drawing the knees a little closer towards the chest, working to stretch a little bit further up the back. Or maybe sending them a little bit further away from the chest, feeling that a little deeper in the low back, spine. Then eventually finding your way to stillness here. We're going to take another deep inhale, reach the arms overhead, press the feet long, big breath in for a full body stretch. This time on the exhale, cross your right ankle over your left, grab hold of your left wrist, or your right wrist rather, overhead, and bend deeply over towards your left side body, creating a nice C curve in the spine. Just start to breathe into the right side body here as you intensify the stretch on that side. This is our banana pose. Breathing deeply. Feeling that stretch from our pinky toe all the way up through our fingertips on our right hand. And noticing here maybe where you feel like the stretch is really working. And think about guiding your breath to that space. Finding a little bit more space in that area. And then at the same time, noticing maybe where you're holding on to unnecessary tension. So maybe you're really squeezing the brows towards one another. Maybe you're clenching your jaw. Let that go right here. Just rest in this position. And take one more big breath in. And breath out. From here, unwind, come back to center. And then take this stretch to the other side. So crossing left ankle over right, grabbing hold of your left wrist overhead, and bring your toes over towards the right corner of the mat, reaching your hands over towards the right as well. Breathing into our left side body now. Again, breathing into space. And noticing where you're still holding on to that unnecessary tension. And seeing if you can use your breath to soften. And while you're here on this other side, notice maybe any differences from side to side. Just noticing, letting go of those judgments and expectations. Just notice maybe one side feels a little bit tighter, maybe it feels a little looser. Take another deep breath in, and breath out. Release and come back to neutral. And then once again, gently guide the knees in towards the chest. Rock side to side, release the low back. Now from here, plant the feet at about hips width distance. You bring your arms down by your side or out to a T. Then slowly start to windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Keeping the shoulders connected to the ground wherever they are. And slowly starting to work a twist into the spine. And eventually allow the legs to rest on the right side of the body. Bring your gaze over your left shoulder. Let the breath take you deeper into this twist. Let it be really gentle. And inhale, draw the knees back to neutral, bring your gaze with them. Take a couple more windshield wiper movements. And then allow the legs to rest on the left side of the body, bringing your gaze over your right shoulder. Once again here, noticing any differences from side to side. And inhale, come back to neutral. And gently guide the knees back into the chest here. This time start to rock and roll the length of the spine, creating some nice C shapes in the spine, really rounding as you round down. And coming up. Taking a few more passes of this. And eventually making your way up to a seated position. Now for today, find a seated position that best supports you, whatever feels good for you. Sometimes this can be really intense on the hips, so feel free to take a long, extend the legs long and sit just like that. If it feels better for you just to have a really casual legs, that's totally fine as well. Now from here, the biggest point that we want to make is make sure that our sit bones are really connected to the ground. You can start by just pulling gently a little bit of that extra muscle out of the way. Then bringing your hands to your legs. And we're just going to start with some simple cat and cow spinal movements. So from this seated position, on that inhale, we're going to press our chest forward, rolling the shoulders back, thinking about opening up the heart here, really pressing things, maybe even bringing your gaze up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, rounding the spine, pressing through. You can bring your gaze down towards your belly button. Inhale, press your chest forward, bring your gaze up. Exhale, round the spine, press away. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this as well. Again, taking this from whatever leg position you have. Inhaling as you open up, draw those shoulders back. And exhale as you round the spine and press through. Take 2 more of these at your own breath pace. Awesome. And then meeting back in our neutral seated position, wherever that may be for you this evening, we are going to stretch out our neck as well. So on that next inhale, press the chin up towards the sky. Exhale, bring the chin down to the chest. Inhale, chin to sky. Exhale, chin to chest. One more of these. Inhale, chin to sky. Exhale, chin to chest. Now from your chest, we're going to roll up our left shoulder, coming all the way up towards the base of the spine. And exhale, roll back down. Inhaling up right shoulder, coming to the base of the spine. And exhale, come back down. Inhaling up left shoulder. Take some extra time making your way here this time. Noticing maybe where it feels a little bit like a sticky point or an area where that's really your tension is right in that area. Just pause right there. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, see if you can soften just a little bit. And when you're ready, making your way back down. Transferring over to the other side. Again, pausing at your sticky points. Breathing through them. And coming back down. Flowing through this again, still at your own breath pace. We'll take a few more rounds. If you'd like to intensify the stretch, you're not really feeling anything on the side of the neck here, you can walk out the opposite fingers to where your head is pointed. So you're creating this really nice long stretch from the fingertips all the way up towards the head. And then as you bring your head back to neutral, bring your hand as well. And if you do one thing on one side, try it on the other. And one more on each side. And then coming back to your neutral position. Now from our neutral position here, we're actually going to stretch out our hands and our wrists today. We are going to spend a little bit of time on our wrists or putting a little bit of pressure here. So I always like to warm those up really well. So we'll start just by making some fists here with our hands and just starting to roll our hands. Moving in both directions, really warming up those wrists. Now from our fist position, we're going to stretch our fingers out wide and bring them back to fists. Stretch the fingers out wide and back to fists one more time. Stretch them out and fists. Now from here, we're going to press our right hand forward. So kind of like we're saying stop. And then bringing our left hand behind. We're going to capture all of our fingers, including the thumb here. And slowly start to bend the fingers back as we press through the heel of the hand right here. So don't do this super intense. This is a pretty very small stretch, but it actually should feel it in the fingers as well as the wrist, maybe even in the palm. And then releasing the fingers, bringing the fingertips down. We'll bring our hand to the top of the hand now. I like to spread my fingers a little wider here and press through the wrist. I have double jointed elbows, so it looks a little bit weird here for me. All right. And then we'll do that on the other side. So again, press the left fingertips forward, just like you're saying stop. The right fingertips come behind, capturing all the fingers, press them back, pressing through the heel of the hand. And then flipping the hand, bringing the hand down, fingers come on top, press through the wrist. And release. And we'll do another one of those wrist exercises. We're going to interlace our fingers here and then just roll them. Moving in all directions. Just make them loose, mobile, however that feels good for you. Awesome. When you feel good here, we are going to roll through our seated posture to find tabletop, top of the mat. We'll take a few cat and cows here to get started. Knees are right underneath the hips. You can press the tops of the feet down into the mat, spread the fingers wide. Big breath in, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Cow pose. And exhale, round the spine, press away, press through the shoulders. Inhale to cow pose, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, round the spine, cat pose, press away. One more round at your own breath pace, flowing in cow. And coming back to cat. And then meeting here in our neutral position. Now from our neutral position, we'll thread the needle, inhaling right fingertips up towards the sky, making this a little bit of an active movement to start here. So as we reach our right fingertips, bring your gaze with. Exhale, thread the needle, just brush your right cheek towards the mat, and inhale, sweep right fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, reach towards the left. Inhale, one more time, reach high. Exhale, thread the needle and stay here this time. So bringing the cheek down to the mat, bringing that right shoulder down towards the mat. Your left hand can stay planted right by your face. Or if you'd like tonight, you can wrap that left hand behind your back for a half bind. If this feels good and you'd like to add a leg variation, you can even step that left foot out towards the side, really rooting down into that outer edge of the foot as you open up towards the sky. Breathing deeply. And arm variations come back. Leg variations come back. Inhale, reach right fingertips towards the sky. Exhale to tabletop. Taking that to the other side now. So inhaling, left fingertips up. Exhale, thread the needle, reach, bring your left cheek down. Inhale, reach left fingertips up. Exhale, reach. One more here. Inhale to reach. Exhale, thread the needle and stay here. Left cheek plants. Again, option for that hand variation, bringing your right arm behind your back. And again, option for the foot variation, reaching the left foot out, or the right foot out rather. Breathing deeply. And arm variations return. Leg variations return. Inhale, sweep left fingertips back to the sky. Exhale, come back to tabletop. Now from our tabletop pose here, we are going to take our lovely toe stretch. Again, I'll turn towards the side here. So starting from our tabletop position, tuck those toes under, just like you're pressing the toes, ready for a downward facing dog. Now as you start to press those toes further in, start to walk the hands back, towards the knees so that you're resting or sitting on top of those heels. If this is already too much intensity, feel free to just walk the hands forward, take a little of that pressure off. This is a very intense stretch, it's okay. And then breathe deeply here. Find your spine alignment, really tuck that tailbone, engage the core. Breathing deeply as you sit tall. One more big breath in. Yes, you can. Stay for the full exhale. And slowly start to walk the hands forward, releasing the feet here, and gently tap the tops of the feet onto the mat. So we're making our way to our traditional balasana. So for our traditional balasana, we're bringing the big toes to touch, taking knees out wide. Sink the hips onto the heels and bring the forehead down to the mat. As you bring the forehead, we're going to reach those right hand or the hands back so that the palms are facing up towards the sky. And then just let the tops of the hands rest on the mat as you bring your forehead down and just settle into this posture. Really sinking into this child's pose, balasana. Breathing deeply. Letting everything go. So we just took quite a bit of movement here for the beginning. Settle right back into your breath. Notice the length of the inhales and the exhales. Notice anything that's on your mind. Give it just a moment to notice and then gently let it go. And as you sink into your balasana, let the shoulders really totally soften. Let the hips sink onto the heels. Feel the spine start to elongate. As the crown of the head reaches towards the top of the mat. And your hips sink down towards the back edge. Be right here now. Breathing deeply. And let your belly be soft. Take those full breaths in and full breaths out. Being right back to this moment. Noticing that peace within. Continuing to breathe here in child's pose. Feel free to stay here for as long as you would like. This is a really great restorative posture. If you would like to start moving out of child's pose, start softly by just bringing the hands up towards the front. Taking an extended child's pose for just a moment. And then slowly starting to shift your weight forward, coming right back to our tabletop posture. Now from our tabletop pose, just take some organic movement, sway the hips side to side, release any tension, any energy that may have built up in that last posture. Now from here, we're going to start to really deep dive into our hips. So we've been doing a lot of sitting for work, and so I want to really make sure that we're getting into those hip areas. So we're going to start by just bringing our right foot up towards our right hand. So taking kind of a wide lunge stance here, and then just starting to shift your weight forward and back. Just feel what that feels like in your right hip. Maybe making some more circular movements. If you're taking those circles, consider moving in both directions. Maybe feeling what that feels like to extend the right leg, sending the hips back, maybe even lifting the right toes. Then a little bit more of a hamstring stretch here. And then slowly starting to make your way towards stillness. Hands are still at about shoulder width distance here on the mat. And slowly we're going to start to walk that right foot in, so it's just on the edge of the mat. And starting to press towards that hip. So starting to feel a little bit of an opening maybe on the left front hip. I'm feeling some compression in the right. Just breathing deeply here. You can see I kind of have a little bit of a cat back. Press through the shoulders so you're not sinking into the posture. Stay powerful in this pose. This is our nice lizard posture. Breathing deeply. If you're not quite feeling this posture yet, you can always come down to forearms. Otherwise, just stay right where you are. And making sure we're pressing evenly throughout the hands to protect the wrists. And then slowly starting to walk that right foot in between the hands, bringing your right hand to the outside. You can see I have some pretty tight hips here today, so I'm tenting the fingers just to allow for a little bit more space. You can always use books as props or blocks here as well. Breathing deeply. And then slowly starting to shift the hips back, taking that half split posture. So your leg doesn't have to be totally straight. Take a nice little micro bend here in the right knee. Then just start to peel the toes back towards the face, really pressing deep. You can stay here really folding over the thigh, or if it feels good, you can guide your hips down towards that left foot. Breathing deeply wherever you are. If you want to add a nice stretch in the left low back, you can reach your fingertips towards the outer edge of your right foot. And slowly starting to inhale, shift your way back. And then planting the hands, you can just step that right foot back behind you. And maybe again, flow through a cat or a cow. Move the body, release anything that maybe got pent up there. Noticing differences side to side now. And then we'll start that stretch sequence on the left side. So we're going to step our left foot up towards the outer edge. And finding some movement here, again, making those circular movements. Maybe shifting the weight forward and back. I always notice that this side is a little tighter than the right. You can notice that in your body, releasing any judgments or expectations, just noticing. Then starting to settle in here, we're going to walk our foot to that outer edge of the mat. Hands are about shoulder width distance. And really start to drop the hips here into this stretch. Feeling it shift into the front of the right hip as well as get some compression in the left. Breathing deeply here for lizard. Again, always an option to go down to the forearms if you'd like. I'm way too tight today to get there. And slowly starting to walk that left foot in between the hands. And again, sinking into the hips just a little bit here. And then shifting into half splits. Starting to shift the weight back, peeling the toes off the mat as you start to straighten that left leg. Again, keep a nice little micro bend in the knee. Options here to continue to press the belly towards that thigh. or start to sink back onto your right foot. There's no right or wrong, just what feels good for your body. And then for this, if you did want to get that stretch in the right side body, you can also reach your right fingertips towards the outer part of your left foot. And releasing that, slowly starting to walk your way back and making your way back to that tabletop pose. We're going to take one more stretch in this position. We're going to take our frog pose. So we'll start by just bringing our feet out to the sides here, kind of walking those hips a little bit wider than your mat. I always like to take my knees a little wider than the mat itself, but do something that works for you. You're creating kind of this frog leg situation for yourself in the back and going as low as it feels comfortable for you. This for me is as far as I can go today for my hips. And I'm just going to slowly start by pressing the hips back and forth just a little bit here, really tiny, subtle movements, just to help waken up those hips. And as it feels good, you can make your way down to your forearms or maybe resting your head on your hand. And turn to the side too so you can see this as well. Again, you're turning the toes out, creating that frog positioning. And then slowly you can shift the hips forward and back. If you have a prop here, this is another great place to rest your head. Just breathe into the stretch. And taking one more big breath in. And a big breath out. And walk the chest back up. Carefully walk the legs back together. And then just making your way to a seated position facing the front or the top edge of the mat. We'll start here just by taking a nice gentle forward folding position with our Baddha Konasana legs, so bringing the soles of the feet together. Open the knees up wide, take a nice deep breath. Puff up the chest as you elongate the spine. And then on the exhale, slowly start to fold forward. You can use your elbows here to press into the calves a little bit. Feeling that stretch a little deeper. If you want a deeper stretch on the inner thighs, bring the feet closer towards your body. If you're looking for something deeper in the hips, just walk the feet a little further away from the body. Again, as always, feel free to use your props here underneath your knees for some extra support. And then just settle into the fold, breathing deeply wherever you feel the stretch. And relaxing the jaw, relax the muscles of the face. And taking just a few more breaths here. If you notice your body softening, see if you can just go a little bit deeper. And slowly on your next inhale, start to walk the chest up, taking your time, letting the head be the last to return to neutral. As you make your way to neutral here, we're bringing our hands to our legs, closing the legs like a book. And stepping the feet to about hips width distance here. From here, we're going to scoot the hips closer towards the heels and then start to roll down onto our backs. And then releasing the hands to the sides, you can bring the palms down towards the floor, spreading the fingers wide. Press down into the heels here, lifting the hips for our bridge posture. Option 2, interlace the fingers beneath the back, popping the chest up just a little bit more here. And really pressing down evenly into the full foot, even the toes, to activate the front line of the body. Breathing deeply. One more big breath in. And let it go. Releasing the hands to the sides and slowly, with control, lower your back to the mat. Once the hips are lifted here, you can rock the knees side to side, just like we did in the beginning of class. And then from where you are here, we're just going to start by crossing our right leg over our left. Pressing the right knee away from the body, coming into our supine half pigeon. So from here, you can see I'm activating the foot here, really pressing through the toes as well as the heel. This is just protecting a teeny tiny ligament in our right knee. So make sure you're active in this position. And pressing actively the right knee away from the body. Just using our muscles here to open that hip up. And if that feels good and you're looking for more of a stretch, you can guide the legs in towards the chest, maybe even capturing from behind the leg and drawing the legs a little bit closer. Continuing to keep that right foot active wherever you are, and just breathing deeply. Should feel a nice stretch in the right hip, maybe even on the inner thigh and outer thigh. Soften those shoulders if you can, down to the mat, let everything be. Take one more big breath in, and on the exhale, squeeze everything just a little bit tighter. Bring everything a little closer. Breathe into that new stretch, those new sensations. And then take one more big breath in. On the exhale, keeping your legs where they are, extend your arms out to a T. From here, we're going to bring our right foot down to our left side. So just tipping our legs over to the right, or the left rather. Then I like to press that right knee still away from the body to feel a little bit more of a stretch on the outer right hip. Bring your gaze over your right shoulder. And then inhale, bring the head back to center. Gently guide the legs back through neutral. And uncross the right leg. And we'll take this stretch to the other side. So starting by activating our left foot, drawing the toes towards the shin, and then crossing the leg over the left. Start by pressing that knee actively away from the body. If this feels good and you're looking to intensify the stretch, gently start to guide the legs in towards the body. Again, feel free to reach through here. You can grab hold of the back of the right leg to draw the legs a little closer. You can use your left elbow here to press that knee out to keep that stretch in the hip. And again, just noticing differences side to side. Again, for me, this is my tighter hip. You may notice that you have a tighter or looser hip on this side. Again, take a nice deep inhale. On the exhale, just guide everything a little bit tighter. Intensify that stretch just a little bit. Take another deep inhale here. And exhale, release the arms out to the T. Turning this into the twist now. And guiding our legs over towards the right side. Pressing that left knee away. And you can bring your gaze over your left shoulder here. And inhale, gently bring your gaze back to neutral. And bring the gaze or the feet with you. Uncrossing the legs now. We'll guide both knees back into the chest. And take some circles here with your spine, rock side to side. Roll out the knees, whatever feels good for you. Now from here, we'll find stillness and start to press the feet up towards the sky for legs up the wall. I like to grab hold of the backs of the legs for some extra support. Let my feet separate. And roll out the ankles, point and flex the feet. Spread and wiggle the toes. And then make your way to stillness. From here, just breathe. Notice that calming sensation that just automatically floods the mind. Feel the gentle rise and fall of the chest. And from legs up the wall, slowly start to bend the knees back into the chest. You can reach through to grab the feet for happy baby, rocking side to side. Maybe even allowing a smile to touch your lips here, finding the full expression of happy baby. And gradually making your way to stillness. As you find stillness, releasing the feet, guide the knees back into the chest and wrap your arms around your shins for Uttanasana. Lift the shoulders, the head, and the neck off the mat. Squeeze everything in tight. Take a deep inhale here. And exhale, Shavasana. Arms and legs extend long. Take up as much space as you would like here on the mat. Let the toes turn out to the outer corners. Palms face up towards the sky. Allow the eyes to close. Soften the muscles of your face. Relax your jaw. Breathe. Reading another excerpt from Melody Beattie's A Journey to the Heart. Today we discovered the power of stillness. Stillness is different from solitude, different from aloneness, different from turning off the stereo or speaking softly. Stillness is a place. You can find it in a desert or in a mountain. You can find it when you're alone or when you're in the midst of people. You can find stillness wherever you are, whatever you're going through. Stillness is a place within you. Slow down, breathe deeply, get quiet. Become familiar with stillness and take time to learn its power. From that place of stillness, the right action will emerge and you will find your next step. From that place of stillness, you can move into the present moment. There you will find your power. From that place of stillness, the right action will emerge and you will find your next step. From that place of stillness, you can move into the present moment. There you will find your power. Yogis, as always, you are more than welcome to stay right here in Shavasana for as long as you would like. If you are ready to move on with your Thursday evening, just start softly. Take some deep inhales and exhales. Move your breath before you move your body. And slowly starting to make some small movements with the fingers and toes. Nod your head side to side. Trace your teeth with your tongue. Open and close the jaw. Rolling out the wrists and the ankles. And then take a nice deep inhale. Reach your arms overhead. Take another full body stretch. Press through the bottoms of the feet as you reach your arms towards the back. Breathing in just a little more space into your spine. And on the exhale, find your way to fetal asana, resting your arm or your head on your arm, drawing the knees in towards the chest. As you rest here in your fetal position, just reflect on your practice. Notice any transformations in the body or the mind. Come back to your intention. Extend some gratitude for whatever your intention is today. Think about if there's a way for you to bring your intention with you off the mat, into your life. And finally, extend gratitude to your body and to everybody else here that is sharing their practice with you this evening. And when you're ready, press your chest up, find a seated position facing the front. As you make your way to stillness, bringing the hands into heart center, pressing the thumbs into your heart center as you press your palms into one another. I thank you all so much for joining me for class this evening and for sharing your practice, not only with me, but with the others that are on this chat this evening. The student, the teacher, the light within me honors and sees the student, the teacher, the light within each and every one of you. And together we are all one. Bringing our hands up to our third eye center, the seat of our enlightenment. Bowing forward, we seal our